Mr. Wagenbush, good morning.
Good morning.
A pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you.
How are you doing today?
Oh, doing fine. How about you?
Oh, you look so elegant.
As do you.
As you can see, this is a typical cultural dress from Cameroon,
Right.
from the northwest.
Okay.
The northwest, they dress typically like this on Sundays or during cultural activities.
I see.
Yes.
So there's a variation of the dress depending on what the event is.
Exactly.
Or casual,
Depending on what the event
professional,
is, and generally people put on this in any event.
I see.
Generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of warm.
It's it depends on the material.
I see.
You know, there are materials like this one is really meant for winter. It's thick.
Yes.
But there's another one which is lighter.
I understand.
You can wear that during summer.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. But what really attracts people is the color. You know,
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is.
green, red, yellow.
And the lions.
Exactly. The lines too. You see the chain and all that.
Right.
So
It's beautiful.
yeah, we really value our culture and we identify it and manifest it
Right.
wherever we go.
And that's important.
No, it is.
Yeah, it really is.
It is who we are. We cannot do otherwise.
That's really critical. You know, it's that importance. You know, that's that critical element. You know, to just be proud of who you are. You know, and let the world know that you know you achieved.
That's exactly why I'm here, Mr. Wagenbush. I'm here because one of your priests of the Diocese of St. Thomas was appointed
Yes.
the first Cameroonian-born bishop to be appointed in the United States of America,
That's
Bishop
correct.
Jerome Frederick. That's why I'm here. I'm here for a scientific interview to get to meet people who have worked with him so that the world may be able to know who this man is. But before we begin, I want to know who you are.
Well, who I am kind of pales from that as comparison to the achievements that you know our now Bishop Jerome Frederick has achieved over the years.
Okay.
But my position here is Chief Financial Officer, and you know I've been here for since 2013.
Oh, wow.
I've been affiliated with the church since we first moved here, my wife and I in 1997.
Okay.
So we've had that relationship with then of course Monsignor, then it was Pastor Fujio, then Monsignor, and then the rector of the cathedral. So he's had quite a number of positions as he's kind of matriculated through the religious community here.
Okay.
But my position is pretty much as you would expect for a chief financial officer.
Yeah.
Someone who manages the fiscal responsibilities of the diocese.
Okay.
Works in close conjunction with the bishop, of course, in terms of actually keeping a precise assessment of what the fiscal status is.
Okay.
Evaluating ways that we can do strategic planning. Looking at ways in which we can incorporate statutory guidelines and procedures into the operation of the church. Maintaining in compliance with canonical law, of course.
Exactly.
Human resources, and all of the things that you normally wouldn't associate with the operation of a church are very profound and integral and integrated
Nice,
into the
that much.
operation. So that's what's important.
Oh, wow.
And some people, I guess, casually refer to it as a business. Of course, it isn't.
Yeah, of course.
But it is an element that has to take place in order to be functional and maintain operational status.
And that has to be well managed.
It does.
So I'm so excited that we have an expert like you who's made this great job.
Well, the expert, but I certainly enjoyed, and it's a pleasure working with Bishop Fujio. It really is. So that's one of the things that has come to be, and it has to be a relationship.
It has to be.
It really does.
Yeah.
It has to be more than professional. It has to be one where there's an element of trust.
That's true.
It has to be one where there can be open dialogue, respectful, but at the same time and fair, and very transparent in terms of how the business, how the diocese operates. So we have that, and it didn't happen overnight. As I said, we've known each other for 25 years, so that helped with the transition.
I see.
Had it not been for there would have been some time where he would have had to get to know me better.
Exactly.
And
begin again.
That's right.
That takes me to the next question.
Right.
So when did you meet him for the first time?
And for the first time in 1997, believe it or not.
Wow.
So it's been a long relationship. Yeah. And I've seen him grow, spiritually, seen him grow in terms of his recognition of who he is and his contribution in terms of the church and the community. So he's really had a profound impact, and that pretty much culminates in his appointment.
Okay.
But it would take us much longer than I think you've devoted to this interview
Yes.
to really give just response to what he's done in terms of his interaction with people, in terms of his insight in building the infrastructure of the diocese, in terms of his mission accomplishment, in terms of recognition and acknowledgement of the community itself and the diversity of the community.
Okay.
The understanding that that diversity is the commonality, that results in that integral unit of the diocese itself.
Wow.
And how do we go about bringing those individuals who are diverse into the community?
Together.
And he's been very good about doing that. His posture at that point in time, was very profound. And now as bishop, he certainly expanded that and made it that a mission of truth, if you will, as to the significance and how this can happen and his ability to make it happen in terms of putting the individuals in place who feel can facilitate that. And so that's right. So it's really been quite a profound experience.
So you knew him as a young priest?
I did.
Here in the cathedral, or?
Oh, he was in Holy Family, back then.
Exactly.
Yeah,
When they
he
yesterday.
was Holy Family. So that's pretty much where I first met him.
Okay.
And actually he came over here to the cathedral
After being at Holy
after
Family.
being at Holy Family, and became a rector and a pastor. So he's had a number and more a number of hats. And quite frankly, to be perfectly honest, he was always in the background doing the kinds of things that a bishop would do, by the fact that our previous bishop, Bishop Bavard,
Yes.
had such respect for him, both in terms of his capabilities and his unique capabilities to interact with the community.
Okay.
So he was very comfortable in assigning him duties that probably not normally would have been assigned to a vicar general or someone in capacity of then Monsignor Jerome Pujo.
Okay.
And it's because of the capabilities and his understanding of the kinds of things that needed to be achieved in the diocese to move it forward and to make it more encompassing to the community.
Let's go more on the qualities. You say he's a man of community, so he can build up a community.
He can.
And he has.
He has that. And he's done it in a way that, again, he incorporates everyone, the youth,
Okay.
the
elderly,
individuals who are sick, individuals who need ministry, in their homes, individuals who, need ministry in terms of their personal and religious, development.
Okay.
Individuals who you might consider, immigrants to the Virgin Islands, the Haitian community, the Spanish community, very, very knowledgeable, bringing everyone together, making them feel like they are a part of the Diocese of St. Thomas, which is something that, again, it's probably not unique, but it may not be as prolific in some dioceses as it is here. And the fact that it's such a small community, only 109,000 people, the entire Virgin Islands.
109,000.
Yeah, there are more people in Manhattan, New York.
Exactly.
So, by comparison, it really takes a lot, to make everyone feel comfortable, because, people do come from diverse backgrounds. Yeah, people are different. And the Caribbean is very unique in terms of that, experience. Some come with, different religious convictions and different spiritual guidance. So it's making people comfortable in who they are and bringing them towards a point where, they can actually experience the religious and transition that they feel is comfortable in.
Talking about his commitment to people of different nationalities, I was impressed when I was walking by this morning. I saw the Caritas, charity.
That's right.
So it seems the bishop is very involved in charity, practical charity. As a financial officer, you should be able to tell us that a lot has been invested to help the immigrants who don't have food, who just come into a place, they don't have money. Because it seems there's a soup kitchen there.
That's right.
Tell us more about that.
Well, Catholic Charities is one of the entities that we certainly are very proud of in terms of its ability to reach out into the community and assist those who are, less fortunate, those who are homeless, those people, the poor, the indigent, and even going over and helping people who have other challenges that may be to some degree, psychological, even though that's not the mission of Catholic Charities. But when you talk about the human element, you can't leave any.
No, you can't leave any element out. But the human being is whole. Right. The church is out for the whole human being.
It's right. It's a holistic entity, and sometimes we really have to be careful because of the liability issue. But there is that compassion, that exists within Catholic Charities, and certainly communicated by Bishop, that says, we have to understand, and we have to react, and we have to respond to the needs of all people as much as we can.
Exactly. And
that certainly takes place. And I'll say Ms. Andrea Schillingford, who's the executive director for Catholic Charities, has done an excellent job. She too has a long-standing relationship with Catholic Charities. Basically moved through the organization, from assistant to now executive director, and understands the working elements. Has been very instrumental in not only addressing the immediate needs but expanding those to include efforts for, foods have come in, donated from outside entities to increase the level of assistance, to the people here in the community. So it's really been very profound. But Bishop Jerome has really been a driving force behind all of those from the early start, and knows firsthand, what the needs are, and is able to go in and, so to speak, get his hands dirty, not stand back and just point and delegate, but really come in and become a part of it, become there, which is really, also a very essential element of who he is.
Exactly what the Pope Francis expressed
That's exactly
at the
right.
beginning of his pontificate.
That's right.
The pastor should smell the sheep.
That's
should
right.
have the smell of the
That's
sheep.
right.
He
That's
should
right.
be with the people.
And Bishop Jerome does. I mean, he's very, very instrumental in that. You'll see him. We've been in meetings where he would get up and go to the back and adjust sound systems, or go and bring water, or just all the kinds of things that you would not normally expect of someone of that level.
That magnitude.
But he just does it because this is a part of who he is, and he doesn't see it as being outside of the scope of what he should be doing. So he's very casual, and he's very very
simple,
that's exactly
approachable.
right. Exactly right. Those are the right terms. Just very innate in his ability to react to the community and certainly the church and stuff.
So your relationship with the bishop has been extremely cordial. Has been a cordial relationship.
It has been. You hate to use the word friend, but there's that respect. There's a mutual respect that we've developed over the years. But at the same time, one that we can sit down and talk about things, very succinctly, very openly, and very respectful. And he's one who listens. He just doesn't have you there, just as a token, or just as just a courtesy. But he truly does listen to the kinds of advice that he gets, and you will see him incorporate into things as best he can. So, and that's one thing that really has been delightful to me, because he just, when he asks you a question, he's just not doing it just as a perfunctory nature. He's doing it because he really wants some input as to how he should go about doing things. So that really is very helpful.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So the relationship has grown and matured because you knew him from as a priest, a young priest,
right.
and now as a bishop, the collaboration, the working relationship flows very, very smoothly.
It does. It really does. And
So happy.
every day is each challenge each day.
It is.
But the great thing about it is we're able to work through them, and is with his experience. I mean, that really is helpful, because his experience is just so subtle, but at the same time effective.
Okay.
He just doesn't go out there and beat the table and hit you with a hammer, but he strategically plans things, very meticulously, to the point where he can achieve the goal without actually being very overt with the process itself. So, and that's a very, very unique skill.
I see.
Truly.
It is a talent and a gift,
Right.
Mm-hmm. So his predecessor was called Bishop Beva.
Yes.
Could you tell me the relationship you had with the predecessor? Were you
brother.
already working here?
Yes, I was.
So you observed, you knew Bishop Beva already?
Oh, yes,
Did
I
you?
did. Yeah, I worked with Bishop. In fact, I was hired by Bishop.
That's quite interesting. So my question is, how did you observe the relationship between the then Father Frejo with Bishop Beva? How was the working
The
relationship?
working relationship, as we mentioned earlier, was one of very much respect, and one where Bishop Beva truly did and spoke often, both privately and publicly, about the respect and regard he had for Bishop then Monsignor Jerome's skills.
Okay.
Monsignor Jerome wore a number of hats. Monsignor, vicar, rector,
Priest,
pastor, and he did all these kinds of things, and personal consultant,
Exactly.
missionary
Collection
consultant.
consultants.
Yeah, he did all these kinds of things, and Bishop really appreciated those, because it relieved him of those kinds of things that
Exactly.
prevented him from going on doing the functions of the activities that
or
were
meetings
important.
and all the
Exactly.
conferences.
That's right. So it really was quite a very unique, and I consider it a symbiotic relationship where each of them traded their skills and capabilities for the long-term development of the diocese. So it was very profound. It was interesting to see it in action. So that was good. Yeah.
So what was your reaction when he was appointed bishop? How did you get the news, by the way?
Much like everyone else, we had the announcement, because it was a sealed announcement,
Yeah,
by
sealed
the
envelope.
nuncio. So, I was one of the individuals who had the profound honor of opening the envelope
Oh, did you?
and announcing it, to the public. So, so it was really, it was kind of interesting. It kind of reminds you of the Oscars where they go up and no one knows who the winner is until they open it. So it's one of those situations. But
So you did open the envelope?
We did.
In front of the assembly?
That was the whole thing. That was the whole purpose.
Wow.
It was a sealed envelope, and we came to the podium. In fact, Ms. Patrick brought the envelope up, and it was opened by one of our really very active mission parishioners.
Okay.
Attorney Richard Bormanak is the one who had the honor of announcing the individual who was the designated bishop for the diocese. So it was kind of three-pronged. It was everyone there, just kind of
people applauded, was
stand and standing ovation, because he as an adjunct of everything that I said,
yes.
People really recognized that it was anyone who deserved the honor of being named bishop. It's
Monsignor Frederick.
Yes. He earned it, the old-fashioned way, hard work and
exactly.
Yeah.
So after the announcement, there had to be preparations for the Episcopal ordination.
Right.
And I know you were extremely involved.
Yes.
Tell us more about the preparations. How did that go?
Well, quite frankly, it was, I guess my actual involvement was more from just the monitoring, the fiscal, tight budgetary relationships and, being there, for the various functions. But he had some really key people, Miss Charlotte Thames and Miss Lydia King, who actually spearheaded the event.
Okay.
And, he can't ever say enough about it, neither can I, because these people worked night and day with a good, dedicated team of committee persons who were each delegated their responsibilities and handled them well. Ms. Keel Chancery, who was responsible for going out and raising the funds and getting the monies in for the booklet, to facilitate things. So, and again, Lydia and Charlotte, being there all the time and coordinating the functions, which were very detailed and just. It could have been overwhelming if they didn't have the experience that they did. I can imagine two more perfect people that could have been assigned to that, because anyone who did not have the experience, who did not have the commitment, it would not have been successful.
It would not have been.
No. So there were a lot of committed people. I mean, so many that, I couldn't even name them, but everybody just came in there and just worked as hard and just showed Bishop just how much they appreciated him and how much they wanted that event to be successful, not only here in the diocese, but something that could be recognized and acknowledged worldwide. So it did all of those things.
No, I watched it through the internet.
Right.
It was perfect.
Right.
The bishops that came, and tell us more about that day. How did you feel the day of the Episcopal ordination? That was on the 17th of April.
That was actually one of my first
experience
with an ordination of a bishop. So
okay.
it was incredible. I mean, all of the individuals who came from Bishop's hometown, his home of Cameroon. I mean, just tremendous.
Okay.
The people who came in, I mean, I couldn't believe it. It had to be at least 60 people.
Can you imagine? Despite the pandemic.
All over the country, Texas and South Dakota, of all places.
Yeah.
Maryland. Just name any state, and that he had representation, and the delegation came from Cameroon. Even the I think the Queen came, was here. So it was just incredible. I mean, it was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was president. It was just, to me, just an incredible acknowledgement of not only the spiritual and religious person,
that
but the individual, and who everyone saw grow up, and his commitment to the community and the love that was shown. I mean, it was something that was not staged. It was genuine, and there was a serious and a very committed outpouring of just the affection for him. And I think that was the most incredible part of everything. It was all very, very much devoted to him as a person and his growth and development, and the recognition and the honor and the just being proud of what he achieved. So it's quite extraordinary.
So a part of St. Thomas, the diocese of this is St. Thomas.
Yes.
The city of St. Thomas.
Yes.
A part of this city of St. Thomas, the diocese has other places like St. John.
Right. St. Croix.
Is it clean water?
Well, it's St. Croix.
Oh, St. Croix, and
it's a little water island. It's a little bitty place over here, but there's four. St. John, Little Water Island, St. Thomas, and St. Croix, and that's it.
Oh, interesting. And these are all islands.
These are all islands. You can't get there unless you swim, fly, or sailboat, that's it. And
Does that not make the pastoral activity a bit difficult, or is that, are you guys used to it already? Have you been used to it?
Well, it's something that pretty much is baked into the system. I mean, everyone understands that that's how it has to be, and and St. Croix is St. Croix, St. Thomas is St. Thomas, but you get the commute between St. John and St. Thomas much more effective than it would be from St. Croix, because St. Croix is a 44-mile, it's by air travel. St. John is, only 6 miles, by ship, getting over there. So it's pretty easy to get from St. John to St. Thomas. But the thing again that has transpired under Bishop Jerome, and this is certainly something important to mention at this time, is the ability to link, through audio-video conferencing. So we have that capability. And
yes, I saw the radio
right.
and the television
exactly right.
yesterday. I was so amazed.
And that really, if there's any type of inability to access, those religious sessions,
ceremonies,
then it can happen over the internet. We have that ability. You can go on, you can link and go online and stream each one of the.
That's so lovely.
It's incredible. So
so
it's really opened it up quite a bit, and we're very proud of our Catholic Islander that at one point we were publishing every month, but it's just so expensive. So now we're going to a quarterly publication, and so that Catholic Islander is kind of the magazine, is kind of the verbal, the written format for communicating the activities and the functions and the kinds of things that go on with the diocese. So.
I've been collaborating with Brother James, who is the
right.
editor.
That's right.
Did you know him?
Yes, I did.
He told me he was here for a long time.
He was.
Okay.
He was, and he's always just been as energetic, if not more, than he is now. So he's been very committed. I mean, he's someone who just lives and breathes. I mean, when he talks, you can just, he puts his word, I mean, he brings his words to life, almost. When he's talking about, the kinds of things that should be done to enhance the capability of the visibility, of viability of the Catholic Islander, and the other things that he's doing. So he's really been an integral part of this from the very beginning. So he's one of the most knowledgeable persons that you could ever manage to talk to outside of Bishop Jerome, in terms of how the audio, video, and Catholic
all the information technology and all that stuff. Yeah, I've been following up the calendar, the journal, and it's online presently.
Yes, it is.
But I'm very happy that the bishop told me that it's going to be, the printing is going to be back again.
That's right, it is, right.
Okay.
And it's more practical, and for us, more cost effective to do it that way. Because every month, I mean, you kind of run out of things to say, but quarterly, you can get in there some really important things, and can transition, more than pretty much saying the same things over and over in just a kind of different format. So I think it's a very practical standpoint from an information dissemination standpoint, and certainly cost effective.
So my next question is the diocese as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
How does because looking at St. Thomas, it looks like it's a touristic area. Touristic, people just come and visit and they go. So how does it? Or am I?
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. No. I'm happy is it true that people just come here and visit and go, or we have people who are here who are permanent?
Okay, that's an interesting response. You do have those individuals who come in. For example, during the peak of tourist season, we get somewhere in the neighborhood of 200,000 people.
7,000.
200,000.
200.
Over some.
What is that peak period?
The peak period is from November to April.
Okay. November.
So it really is quite a unique time period, and the people do come in on the cruise ships, and they leave, and people come in on the planes. Well, I'll take it back. The total tourist activity, planes and ships, is over 2 million in any given year. So that's a lot of people. But quite a few of them do fly in, they leave.
Okay.
But there are people who come in, they call them snowbirds.
I see.
Who stay for during that period where it's snowing, it's cold in the States, and they stay here for a period of 3-6 months sometimes.
Okay.
So that's very, very interesting.
So in that case, the question I was about to ask, because I was asking this question related to how does the diocese survive? Because since you have few people and their parishes, how does it survive financially?
It's very difficult, and it's been a complete transition. I mean, I don't know if we will ever be the same again as a result of the COVID impact, COVID-19 impact. That's probably had the most profound impact on parishioner giving that certainly I've experienced, and I've been here almost 25 years. It meant that people couldn't interact. At one point, there was basically no activity in the church because people couldn't come because of the restrictions. It's slowly ticking back up, but not nearly in the numbers that would be sufficient to maintain the operation. Also it's had an impact because initially Bishop of Art and the then Monsignor Jerome would go out and do mission appeals in the States, and there would be some occasions, Dr. George, where they would bring in about $700,000 a year in contributions from the States, and there were some benefactors that would give as much as $100,000. And so it was incredible, but that's gone because everyone has been impacted in the States and all over the world as a result of this COVID situation.
The whole world.
That's right.
People don't go to church.
That's right.
It's a terrible pandemic that really separated people, and the church is a community.
That's right.
I see. So the challenge continues.
The challenge continues, and unfortunately, it's just going to be a gradual thing. We just have to just reinvent ourselves, if you will. We have to find better ways. We're going to find more traditional ways, and I say that from the standpoint of things we've been doing in the past, to address the needs of the parishioners and to address the financial and fiscal requirements of the diocese. And what that will entail will be, more and more of video, more and more of trying to reach the parishioners or reach individuals in the States, by video, by media, by the internet. So it's going to be all these things that we're going to have to transition into quickly because it's really had a profound impact on us.
I see. That's quite interesting.
Good morning.
So let's go to the last question I had regarding let's go back to the island. So the islands you have, for example, in St. Croix, I hear there are 2 parishes there. I was told.
Well, it's Holy Cross.
Okay.
St. Anne's Church.
Okay.
St. Patrick Church.
So that's 3.
So there's 3. Yeah.
Interesting.
And St. Joseph was 4.
Oh, 4.
4.
Interesting. So and then you go to St. Croix. You have, is it clean water?
St. Croix.
Yeah, you have St. Croix. You have another one. St. John.
St. John, yeah. It's Our Lady of Mount Carmel, St. John. So just one there.
Oh, I see.
So that's pretty much it.
So that's, I think, the smallest island, St. John.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
well, in terms of geographically, Water Island is the smallest, but in terms of the actual, dedication of the parish, and it's St. John. St. John is the smallest by far. It only is about 6,000 people or something like that. So it's not that much.
So you have a large Haitian community here.
Very large, yes. Yeah, it's really, and it's growing, and unfortunately, we don't actually know how large it is because of the immigration situation. A lot of, people who come in here just don't want to be seen and afraid that.
So they come illegally.
Yeah, and they just don't, they're afraid they're going to be deported. So you have that element. We know it exists, but there's also a very visible and valuable portion of the Haitian community that we try to interact with, and have actually committed, a mission to develop it.
I see. So part of the Haitian community, do you have people from other countries like the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, you do?
They're all over the country. You name it, Barbados, Dominica. We have a lot of people from Dominica.
Okay.
The Dominican Republic, St. Kitts,
St. Kitts and Nevis.
It's all over. I mean, you just name an island in the Caribbean. We have Miss Patrick is from Trinidad.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, Trinidad. So she's from there. So it's just kind of an amalgamation. And that goes back to one of the earlier things we were talking about is how Bishop was able to, to address the needs of anybody, not only from a different country, but different cultures, that go along with it. So it's really been quite a journey for him, and it's never ending, and it's just going to have to be again a change and just kind of reinvention of the kinds of things we're doing. But I'm sure.
So apart from the bishop, have you known other African priests here? Priests from Cameroon?
I do. Yeah, I do. I Tushad, I know.
Okay.
Let's see who else is here. Robert, is from Cameroon.
Robert, who's the chancellor?
Yes.
Oh,
he's from Cameroon. Boniface is from Congo. So let's see.